It is 6:49. This is your morning in 8 minutes. Here is a live look from Pigeon Forge. A very soggy start to your Tuesday morning all across East Tennessee. As rain continues to move through our area, we want to get right to Chief Meteorologist Heather Haley, who's tracking it all. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, it's all about just kind of giving yourself extra time, but most of this week. What we have, though, is batches that move through at times. So this morning, this is our peak coverage. We're actually coming down from what was a more widespread batch last night. So good moderate to heavy rain is really draped across the eastern half of our area, lined up with I-75. So notice it becomes a little spottier here in West Knoxville, but this back edge will keep moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So that means that you can finally get some clearing here in the next 20 minutes or so. Kodak to French Broad River to Dumplin 715 to White Pine 745. Got your heavier rain up through Maynardville to Williamsburg. Already spottier Oneida to Jamestown, so that's good news. But adding up what's been falling since midnight, well, now look at these big spikes up. 4/10 Oak Ridge, half an inch Townsend, about 1/10 to 1/5 of an inch between downtown Knoxville, Morristown, Lansing. So obviously we've had some ups and downs, but more on the way. I'll track that out for you in a moment.
And getting a look at your first alert traffic at this rain that Heather is tracking, leading to a messy Tuesday morning commute. This is a live look at I-40 just west of the weigh scales. A multi-vehicle crash took place in this area, had the left lane blocked. They stopped all traffic for westbound vehicles to get all of those vehicles in the right-hand lane. You can see that traffic is moving once again, but you can see it is messy out there. That back spray coming off the vehicles really impacting your visibility. And taking a look at that delay, you are hitting the brakes, so definitely want to use caution on I-40 West. Then, as you're heading into Cumberland County on 40 westbound, right near Rockwood Airport Drive, there was an early morning multi-vehicle crash in the area. The lanes are blocked there. Traffic is getting by through that right-hand shoulder, so it is a messy morning commute. Use caution as you head out the door.
Whitney, thanks. Right now, a Knoxville woman is headed to prison for life after shooting and killing her boyfriend 2 years ago.
Prosecutors say cell phone footage helped convict Shanita Nico Holland. According to the district attorney's office, Holland shot and killed her boyfriend at the Southside Flats apartments in 2020 after he broke up with her. Investigators were able to recover cell phone video from the victim's phone showing Holland kicking the door to the apartment moments before the shooting. She is sentenced to life for the murder charge and will be back in court January 6 for sentencing on remaining charges of tampering with evidence and a false report.
And we now know when a Knoxville man accused of triple murder will go on trial. Desmond Ray's trial is scheduled for April. He's accused of killing 3 women in March of 2020. Police say Mildred Blackwell and Barbara Rogers were found shot to death in their home on Truesdale Road in West Knoxville. Juliana White's body was found in the Liberty Street area. Rhea is being held in the Knox County Jail. And right now, Cott County is short on correctional officers in its jails. It only has half of the staff needed to do the job right now.
The sheriff hopes a raise in pay will get more people interested in coming to work for his department. Sheriff C.J. Ball says the department has 12 COs on staff, but they need 24 total. Right now, just 3 officers are left to manage about 160 inmates between 2 jails, with COs working 60-hour weeks followed by a week off. He says the issue right now is pay. The salary is just over $13 an hour, which turns to be less than $29,000 a year. Ball says he's going to push county officials to raise that pay for officers in next year's budget.
And some good news if you've been putting it off for a while. The Department of Homeland Security delaying the Real ID requirement until 2025. It was supposed to start in May of next year. In 2025, federal agencies, including the TSA, will only accept driver's licenses and ID cards that meet the Real ID requirements. The DHS says the pandemic played a role in this decision to issue the delay, but really the delay has been going on since 2008. And a trial is underway in Brussels, Belgium, years after a suicide bombing killed 32 people. 2 of the victims, Americans from right here in East Tennessee, a Gatlinburg native and his wife.
Justin and Stephanie Schultz both died in the attack. The couple was living in Brussels, working as accountants at the time. In an interview WVLT did in 2016 with Schultz's family, they told us he was smart, kind, and generous, and not a single person ever disliked him. Now 10 men are on trial accused of executing terrorist bombings at the Brussels airport and another spot inside the city. The bombings were claimed by the Islamic State. 9 of the accused are charged with the murders and attempted murders on terrorism charges. They all face life in prison if found guilty.
And Emmy Award-winning actress Kirstie Alley has died. Alley rose to fame in the late 80s and early 90s playing Rebecca Howe, a bar manager in the successful TV comedy series Cheers. Her family says she died Monday after a short battle with cancer. She was 71 years old. And right now, it may be another cold and dark day for tens of thousands of people in Moore County, North Carolina. They are still without power after someone or some group intentionally targeted multiple power stations, shooting at them over the weekend. Schools are canceled today, and the power company says it could take days before electricity is fully restored. The FBI is investigating but does not consider the attacks domestic terrorism. And WVLT is proud to be your official station of the Vols. Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker officially left off of this year's Heisman Trophy ballot. Hooker narrowly missed the top 4 as quarterbacks from Georgia, TCU, Ohio State, and USC all made the final list. Hooker did win the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, and Coach Josh Heupel brought home the Coach of the Year.
On the court, the Lady Vols basketball team hosting UT Chattanooga inside Thompson Bowling Arena tonight. The team is looking to get back in the win column after Sunday's loss to Virginia Tech. Tip-off tonight is 6:30 on the SEC Network Plus channel.
6:55 now, picking back up with what's happening now. Again, you get your band of moderate to heavier rain. Notice it becomes a little spottier, but not completely dry for the western half of our area. And that's where we're making a transition from what was best coverage while you were sleeping early morning, but also we're warming up. That's why it's 45 Knoxville to 50 Crossville to 54 Monticello. Some warmer air is lifting up with each of these batches today and the next couple of days. So we'll continue on that upward trend on temperatures, but at least we can become a little bit more scattered on that rain through your afternoon. That'll lift us to 57 at noon with a high today of 60. So not as cold, rainy combo that we had. That was an awful start. But here we are still with scattered rain. Notice we actually stall out around 60 in the day. So temperatures don't even drop much. But what still has to move through for the rest of the day, in addition to what we had last night, you can see that good 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain here right at that North Valley. 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch in spots looking north. So that's some of the heavier rainfall that'll move through southeastern Kentucky. But we still have more on and off rain to move through at times this week. Seeing another peak batch midday tomorrow, more on and off Thursday to Friday. But we've got a lot more to walk you through that timeline on that First Alert Futurecast coming up on the CW.
You know, we get the warm weather and you're going, yes, but all the rain that comes with it.
That cold rain to start, though, was pretty awful.
It was awful. It was certainly awful. It is a mess out there on this Tuesday morning. Whitney's going to continue tracking the roads for us. That's been a disaster, too. We're going to have all that coming up on WBXX. Have a good day.